excited to see. But we're not going to see it in this matchup because we still got to play that 2 versus 2.
Yes,
we have
sir.
Origen fielding NukeDuck and Patrick, with TSM fielding BrokenBlade and Zven.
All right, let's see how they want to go about doing this one here. Top laner plus 80 carry for the side of TSM, going up against 80 carry and mid laner for the side of Origen.
Yep.
So a little bit of a mismatch on the roles here, but it's still 80 carry plus a solo laner. So I want to see what kind of tricks they've got tucked away. They've obviously separated the bottom lane duos. We're also not seeing a solo laner and a jungler for any sort of that synergy. This is kind of wacky, Vegas. 80 carry plus solo laner is not even one of my normal solo queue go-tos.
It's one of those, like, one has a very deep champion pool, the other one has high mechanical skill. That would be the argument, right?
Okay.
But the champion that I always have my eyes on when it comes to NukeDuck are things like Zed, largely because this guy loves the champion. He is very proficient at it. He found that monstrous win against G2 last split on the champion, and it's something that you always have to bear in mind whenever going into an environment where he gets to flex some of his mechanical muscles.
I would be very surprised if TSM picks the cat.
I mean, it's pretty strong in lane, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. This doesn't feel like a 2v2 epic to me, Vegas. It feels like 1v2 and my pet cat's just hanging out over here. It's not what I signed up for. I do want to see, the Yorick is cool. The Yorick's an interesting pick.
That's pretty cool.
You trap him in the cage, but...
I mean, there's always the debate, right? Do you go for like long-range poke? Do you go for all-in? Right now, Origen are hovering over double support. We don't want to see that.
Or it could be the super mega speedy phase rush top catch as well. The one that gobbles you up and then runs away at 9 million miles an hour.
Well, we'll find out because they're doing it.
All right.
But I mean, think about it, right? So you have the Tom Kench going super fast. If you land the snowball, he jumps on you. And then Braum to help stack those passives as well.
Right.
Like, it's double on-hit passive duo effect. I can see that being super obnoxious.
Braum's there to make sure that Tom Kench can get on top of you.
Yep.
And once he's there, he can just drag you all the way back to your base. He's like a thrift store Skarner at level 3. You just gobble him up, spit him back into your turret. It's a great time. TSM going for the opposite side of the coin there. Like you already mentioned, that long-range poke aspect instead. Their goal, make sure that fish is filleted before he can ever close the gap.
I mean, it should be hard. It should be difficult.
Yes.
They just got to avoid the snowballs. That's all that matters for the side of TSM. Long-range advantage. They have a lot of harassment in this duo. So on paper, they should have the edge, but Braum pretty good at mitigating a lot of that poke damage as well. And again, I'm curious as to, we do see that phase rush that you were talking about. Speedy Tom Kench, definitely one of the scariest Tom Kenches.
Well, loading into this game, I will go ahead and let you all know, as I've seen the keystones on the loading screen, it is not super speedy Tom Kench.
No.
Instead, this is double hail of blades, Braum MPK. It's mega attack speed, beat 'em up melee champion.
That is like, apply the passive as fast as you can. Oh my word.
Not what I was expecting. I will go ahead and say that, but it will be hilarious to watch Tom Kench lick somebody at the speed of sound. We'll see if that plays out. We are currently paused investigating some sort of an issue. I'll let you guys know once we end up figuring out what's going on with that one. Hopefully we can get into the game here very soon, but I don't think we're seeing anything too out of the ordinary on the side of TSM. Keystones look pretty normal from the Xerath.
Comet by any chance?
And the Varus, well, my screen's a little messed up. I can't see the... Varus is lethal tempo, actually.
Oh, okay.
So Varus not completely all in
for the lethality,
on the long range. Instead, just wants to be able to get those auto attacks off. Because, I mean, if you get into any sort of an extended fight, lethal tempo will help you a lot.
For sure.
So
I feel if Origen ever successfully closed the gap,
you're just dead.
It's doomed. It's just so doomed.
All right, I can see that because you might be able to shoot your arrows really fast, but that's a lot of punches and a lot of...
Also, have you ever played against top lane Tom Kench?
It's really awful.
It's so horrible to play against.
It's
like,
not fun.
You're like, normally against champions, right? You sit there and like, there are cooldown windows, or like, there are certain opportunities where like certain levels you can look to trade.
Windows of power and opportunity
right?
costs.
Whereas against Tom Kench, as long as he has Q, you're dead.
And it's on like a 4-second cooldown, so there's a lot of you're dead.
But it's funny because the thing about Tom Kench is in laning phase, he's really oppressive. But then out of lane, he gets kited so easily that if you don't have things like Righteous Glory, like all these tools to just help close the gap, then he just gets kited for days. Which is why we put so much emphasis on these snowballs, because if they land, then it's over. But if they don't land, then you're just gonna get poked for days. Like there's a stun on the Xerath. You also have the slow field from the Varus. We're going to be finally jumping into game. Let's see if this double hail of blades support that
Oh,
works.
baby. On my side computer here, I do also have the all chat visible, which Zven kicked things off by saying, good luck, have fun, XD. So you know it's going to be that kind of a game,
It's that kind of game
between these two duos here. Remember, this isn't actually for any sort of points or standings in the overall tournament. Instead, it is to decide who gets side selection in the upcoming match between the complete rosters of these squads. Patrick and NukeDuck hanging out in that brush there, just waiting for the chance, Vedius, to throw first snowball.
Yeah, but TSM, they're very aware of it. They recognize that the brushes, places of extreme danger. You never want to fix check those things.
That's a bad place
So they're
to
just
be.
going to avoid it for now. They've decided to go for what looks like Doran starts across the board, Ring for BrokenBlade, and the Blade for Zven. Meanwhile, double shield. And look at the positioning of Origen as well. They just want to try and zone them away from the farm as much as possible. And I mean, like, you would imagine that at level 1 with Hail of Blades, they're still insanely strong.
Yes. All right, they're going to farm up that one minion here. They'll at least be pushed away from the furthest most brush as BrokenBlade wants to move forward.
They're going,
Look,
they're going.
double snowball into the BrokenBlade. Stun him up, but not enough damage to take him down. It's going to be about half the HP bars of one member of both sides. Patrick going to take some extra auto attacks on his way out. But that's what they're looking out for, those snowballs. Now, there's at least a brief window. Snowball has about a 50-second cooldown for Zven and BrokenBlade to not worry so much, but once that summoner spell is back up for Origen, you best believe they're going to be flexing in that bush again.
But you can also see what happens if you don't have that level 2 and can't go for the all-in, where Zven was actually able to get a lot of harass on the retreat from the side of Origen, and they have to fully commit to these plays. But now they've got that level 2. Patrick, he has the consume, and NukeDuck, I would imagine that he's going to skill the W next, so that even if he misses his snowball, he can jump on top of the Tom Kench, and he can stay nice and close.
So now it just becomes up to Tom Kench. Please hit your snowball. I can throw mine into the wilderness and just jump to you. Also important to note, BrokenBlade now has the stun available on the Xerath, which is a very powerful disengage tool against melee champions. Just means that NukeDuck and Patrick will have to be that much more coordinated. There is no ignite on NukeDuck or Patrick. There was no complete all-in with snowball, ignite, or anything of that sort, so you won't have that extra kill potential should these guys land those snowballs, but they're still controlling the lane for now. 16 to 18 CS though, TSM doing just fine. They even have more to pick up, so they will be at a lead in farm, but Origen's win condition was never farm when they drafted these champs.
Never going to be about the farm, but Patrick
Patrick! First blooded, they bench the Kent with a nice stun into an arrow.
Beautiful punish there from TSM. You know, they got all their levels now. They have all the poke at their disposal, and Patrick, he kept getting chipped away at. TSM secured themselves first blood, so this is a great position for them to be in right now, I believe. On this game mode, you can actually go back and base as well. So I would assume that TSM are going to use this opportunity to reset, buy a couple items, and given that they've now pushed the wave all the way out again, Origen's wave should slowly start pushing towards TSM, depending on where the cannon minion spawns, because they kind of stagnate.
Yeah, they're back and forth, and I also think that NukeDuck was trying to hold the wave in front of the turret, but he accidentally stepped into the brush for a split second, and the minions went to the turret anyway, so a little bit unlucky on the positioning there against those caster minions, but with TSM having gone back to base, now you've got more Dorans in the inventory. When the game's going to be fast, why not load up on the most cost-effective thing you can find? Some boots on Zven as well to catch up to these guys and outmaneuver those snowballs.
All right, so this is a good position for the wave to be in for Origen, largely because now BrokenBlade and Zven are so far away from the tower, which means that this duo can just run them down, and they're going to look for it now.
NukeDuck going in, looking to use the flash, get these stuns, get some kills. Here comes the damage. BrokenBlade will be taken down, but one more auto attack seals the deal. TSM take the 2v2.
I like the hard commit from the duo of Origen. However, they'd already lost that one kill earlier, so Sven's focus was on shutting down the Braum. Good decision-making there coming out from the duo, and TSM will be able to come out on top, and they get choice of side coming into this matchup.
All right, I believe we have a replay coming up of the kills here. This was your first one. Easy pickup.
Yep, you can see that he was just taking way too much harass, trying to push the wave in. And here we actually see the all-in commit. So NukeDuck jumps to the minion wave. He blocks a lot of the damage with his E, and then they commit onto the Xerath first. Now you can see in this situation, they could probably actually get the two versus one But Zven, quick thinking, was like, if I can just get this kill onto Braum, we can actually just win here and now.
Yeah, it's over.
And they're able to secure themselves the win. So definitely a big pickup. Really good stuff there from TSM. And we're just now waiting to find out which side TSM has selected for this matchup.
So difficult to play into those super poke-heavy champions with the all-in sometimes, because as you said, as soon as you fall behind, as soon as TSM has that point of control, it's all or nothing, right? You can't just sit there and allow Varus and Xerath to have their game. So I respect Origen for going in for it, not sitting under the turret and waiting till 88 CS or something to go for the all-in. Just get it over with, get in there and go down swinging.
Yep. So as you can see, Origen doing that before game chant. They like to say, we can do it.
I like
Amps
that.
them up, gets
That's a
them
positive
ready.
attitude, man. Half the battle is mental.
Yeah, they're actually all about that over in the Origen squad. Their facility over in Denmark very much focuses on mental health, well-being, being physically fit. They strive to be the pinnacle of esports organizations.
Motivation, work, improvement, team. Wasn't that the...
They've moved past that, Cloud. They're trying to forget that phase of Origen.
Hey, those are all good words already.
But they're going to be going up against TSM today. And TSM, in my opinion, have definitely had a bit more of a disappointing split. I mean, the argument could be made for Origen as well, considering how they finished last split. But I feel like for both teams coming into summer, expectations from fans were actually very high.
Yeah.
Largely because for TSM, they actually ended a very close final. The way in which they were playing, in my opinion, was very much the MSI meta, where they were utilizing flex picks between both Bjergsen and BrokenBlade. They were very aggressive and fast-paced in how they played the early game. And I felt like that this type of meta would suit them a lot. But coming into summer, it does feel like that they've struggled a lot. And like their very first game against Team Liquid, they even drafted like a heavy scaling comp with Azia and Ezreal, and they just got rolled over.
It felt like the criticisms that have been levied against TSM in seasons past time and time again, where it's, well, TSM just waits to scale. Where's the actual proactive play early on in the game? And Spring Split, at least the second half of it, to me felt like a breath of fresh air into TSM. Bringing in Zix as coach, revamping some of these old strategies, trying new things. And it's exactly as you're describing, going up against Team Liquid, it looked like a different squad. And in summer, while they're not doing badly, they have a winning record.
They do, yeah.
The thing is, when you have those three letters in front of your name, there are expectations set for you as an organization, as the winningest organization in North American history. And just having a winning record isn't enough for TSM and their players and their fans. And you know they got to be wanting to get back to the top.
Yeah, and I watched their most recent game against the Golden Guardians. That was quite a game. Definitely an interesting one to watch. And I'm hoping that coming into this tournament, they've shaped things up. I know there's been a lot of debate, largely from fans between Acadian and Grig. Coming into this game, they've decided to use Acadian, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he stacks up to the likes of Cold, because in Europe, he's considered a very methodical jungler, while when he gets his hands on Rek'Sai, he's very much about trying to make a lot of early game plays. A lot of the time, he spends tracking and playing around lanes that have pressure, and he's very much about trying to control the enemy jungler and make sure that their early game impact is as limited as possible. So very much an Xmithy style, one could argue. However, recently Xmithy's been a little bit more on the aggressive side. But I'm excited to see that matchup, see how things play out.
And I also think it's interesting to talk about the difference between how these two teams finished in spring compared to one another, even though they were both second. Because we heard the players discuss it a little bit before we started the 2v2. The North American finals were very close. It was a best of 5 that went to the full 5 games. The last game could have gone either way. There were a couple critical errors from TSM that pushed it in the way of Team Liquid. Neck and neck. Whereas in the European final, G2, they 3-0 Origen, not once, but twice because of the format change. So it was very clear which one of these two teams was superior. And so that debate and that question always comes up online. Well, which is better? Is it better to have your top team only be slightly better than your second best team, or to have your top team just cut everybody down?
Yep, and one of the fun discussions I always love reading was, is Origen actually that good? If they got